It's November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. You picking up anything in here, hon?
Something awful happened here, Ed.
What is it? Whatever Lorraine sees, feels, touches, it takes a toll on her. A little piece each time.
You have a lot of spirits in here, but there's one that I'm most worried about because it is so hateful. Look what she made me do.
Jeff, we just saw a movie that I completely fell in love with.
Yep.
And I know we may have mentioned that of earlier movies. Fruitvale Station's one of the best movies we've seen this year so far.
Best movie
you've seen this year so far. I mean, it is the best movie out this year so far.
Yeah.
But my favorite film that I've seen this year so far, and will probably remain that way,
is Monsters
for a
University.
while,
Oh my god, I'm so glad you came around.
You son of a bitch. The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Which we were very lucky to see early.
Thank you, base god.
What was it? 2 days ago, yesterday, whatever. So, The Conjuring.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about this shit
Mm-hmm.
that will contain spoilers. Not on here, so don't turn it off. We're gonna do another spoiler review later on to really discuss this movie, because I really need to get into why exactly I
Yeah, if
love
we
this
spoiled
movie.
this movie, that would be scary.
That would be bad. So this is just going to be one of our micro reviews where we just gonna get some points across, give it our rating,
Yep.
and
Let's
tune
conjure up
in.
this review.
Oh, you fucker with the puns. So tune in till July 19th, where we're going to release the longer review after you guys see it, so you can tell us how you feel about this.
It's like South Park. Bigger,
also,
longer,
hey,
uncut.
Stay tuned, because we're going to be on iTunes pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too. Now you get to listen to us on the road and on the bus and laugh your ass off in public.
And make you look like a crazy person.
Exactly. The Conjuring. Let's get into this.
Yes.
The key to this film right now, or to the synopsis, is to not reveal much.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the best parts of this film. The mystery of it.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story. It's a case from Ed and Lorraine Warren, probably the most famous paranormal investigators.
Yeah, they were involved in the Amityville case.
Yeah.
It's probably the most famous case.
And they're also known to not only check in on some stuff that's paranormal, but also say oh, you know what, it was just pipes.
Yeah.
we figured it out here. So they're not it's ghosts the whole time and stuff like that. They're on both sides of the spectrum.
I do love that where they're experts in this field, but if it's a rational explanation of
They're also really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie has to do with this case that they haven't really talked about, and there's not a lot of information about it. But of this this haunting that happened to a family named...
That's a good question, sir.
Oh, shit. I thought you had it queued up.
Oh, I did. Purin.
Purin?
P...
The Perrin?
I really hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Perrin family?
Perrin.
Well,
Roger
anyway.
Perrin, Caroline...
To the Perrin family back in the 70s,
and their daughters,
1971.
yeah.
Moved into a new house, pretty remote location.
Very remote location, yeah.
And shit starts to happen, and it's kind of fucked up.
Kind of.
It's very fucked up. And that's what's... we're not going to say anything, because you start to piece together the mystery on your own, as well as, the film obviously does.
I mean, they kind of laid it out early enough, but maybe not all the details, but the framework.
I don't know. I mean, there are some things where I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense, because now this, and this. And even though...
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Even though it's a little predictable, I mean, there's a part where I told you, something happened, and then I leaned to, it was oh, this is this. And lo and behold, that's what happened. So, but that's not a problem with this. I mean, it establishes a really good plot and mystery that's not only, for me at least, really captivating, but also kind of fun to piece together on your own.
Yeah.
And to start to get these, revelations.
It has a
throughout
really
film.
good story.
It does.
It's not just some haunted house movie where it's there's a ghost in a haunted house, 90 minutes of that.
There's
Which,
there's a lot of background to it, and it's really well established.
Hey, if you're scary enough and you have good performances, they can let it get bad, like Mama. plot holes galore, but it was scary and had good
Yeah.
performances. This one just has a really fucking good story,
And it's written by the guys who wrote like House of Wax and some other bullshit.
What?
That movie with $1 Million Baby.
Hilary Swank. Oh, the one with the plague.
Yeah, the one with like the
plague.
Yeah, they wrote and directed that movie, I think.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, just like all these kind of like not really good movies, and then they made this, which I think is brilliant. I think it reminds me of a horror movie from the 70s.
Okay, White House of Wax, The Reaping, Whiteout,
yeah,
and The Conjuring.
yeah. So the strongest point of this film, besides the scares, let's get into the scares really quick.
It's
frightening as hell.
Terrifying.
And it's not like jump scares, it's this tension that just surrounds you and fucking chokes you.
The Vera Farmiga
and then goes for a punch.
Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine Warren, said it best where it's like, this movie will fill you with dread. Constant dread throughout this entire movie.
I am the law. I can't help it. But,
it will fill you with Carl Urban. That sounds really wrong.
That sounds bad. Carl Urban's gonna fill you while you watch this movie. But anyway, yeah, there's all the scares are so well set up.
You'll feel the law. The law. And law.
Although it's from the same director, I feel a lot of people are gonna compare this to Insidious.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do that because they are different.
Oh yeah.
Insidious, I felt like, as much as I love Insidious, this was everything that I wanted Insidious to be a perfect film for me.
Yeah.
So it focuses more on plot while still maintaining these really scary scenes.
So scary.
That's just like, so much tension throughout these.
People, the opening scene, the opening shot is the shot.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. That's a surprise in this film. Like the opening shot of this movie, something that caught me off guard. As soon as it started, I was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be one of these."
But it's
it's good. Oh, and that's.
I want to tell you, people, so bad, but it's like it really sets the mood. Like, oh, it's gonna be this kind of movie.
The opening of the film sets up who the Warrens are. They're doing a case, which if you can actually look this up. The story's out there on Google. I read it 3 days before. Watching this, and it's actually really cool because they adapted it really well.
Scariest 5 minutes of any movie I've maybe ever seen, or seen in a while. Let's put it that way.
Annabelle the doll.
Yeah.
Just look up Annabelle the doll and read that story. That's the opening of the film, and it sets up this cool these guys are cool.
Yeah.
They're like badass paranormal investigators. Well, yeah. They're not like that. That's what they are. Yeah. But the scares are great. If you want a scary movie, if you love horror and you want to go get scared, go see this movie. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time.
Ridiculously scary. Like, it's like
so
scary.
I don't even want to say it's like, because I don't think it's a lot of jump scares. I think what's so great about it is that they just make you so nervous.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying okay.
Yeah.
Dude, okay.
No. I'm not saying you're saying that.
Okay.
Just so people don't get the idea of like, oh, it's just jump scare after jump scare, like, I don't know, any other horror movie.
Yo, man, jump scares aren't scary. There is one jump scare in this movie. One. But
there's more than one. But anyway.
One that really kind of affected me, like, oh, you didn't have to do that. And then it led into a scare where you're like, oh my god, what the fuck was that?
It's so good when it comes to scares. Now, the plot.
Yeah.
It's another thing that I really, as I mentioned, it totally captivated me, and I was with it throughout the entire thing. And I felt like there weren't a lot of plot holes. In fact, I can't really think of any. They covered their ground really well.
They covered it really well.
I mean, partially it could be because it's based off of a true story, and even that, it's like, well, whether you believe in it or not.
And they give a great explanation to everything that's wrong. Not everything that's wrong. Every question you have in every haunted house movie. The number one question: why the fuck wouldn't they get out of the house? They give a good explanation.
They give a good explanation to that.
Yeah.
And they do these really good things. Like the acting is incredible.
The acting. Oh,
for
so
a horror movie,
you brought
Patrick
this up. Patrick Wilson.
Wilson doing a really good accent too. Like, I really like his accent. He doesn't sound like Patrick Wilson. He sounds like he's from Boston.
It's I didn't notice it until like there are a few sentences where he like really enunciates the A's, and I was like, ooh, the Boston accent.
But both him and Vera Farmiga
Vera Farmiga just
they're
steals.
very good.
For me, she steals the show. She's just amazing in this movie.
But everyone does a good job.
Incredible.
In one of the first nights in the house where this little girl was traumatized because something really fucked up happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's played by
Joey King.
Joey King. She does a phenomenal job. Where I choked up a little bit because I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
Like you could see in her face, like she looks genuinely terrible.
She's a fantastic.
She
was the best part about White House Down.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny. Even
she
though
was so
fucking
good in
flag routine.
But
But
so stupid.
but anyway, acting is top notch in this film, especially for horror movie standards, where it's kind of not an important
the
thing.
mom of the family, Lily Taylor, and the dad, Ron Livingston, are really good. Especially Lily Taylor has a few scenes where you're like, I totally bought what they were trying to do with that. And I can't rave enough about Vera Farmiga. She has scenes where she like has to act so emotionally distressed, and you just feel bad for her. Yeah.
But there are some like really subtle things she does, where when she first goes into the house, like her mood changes.
Yeah.
And like I was noticing that, and then they kind of bring it up again.
Yeah.
So they like do like a little like, oh, I'm not sure if you noticed, but over here, blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, that's why your face changed.
And the one thing I like about Patrick Wilson is that he has this whole monologue where he talks about Lorraine, and you really care for it. You really get a sense that he cares for his wife, and you really get a sense like these two people really love each other, and they'll do anything for each other. And I really liked it. And it's also a movie,
they mentioned, like they think that God put them together for a reason.
And that's another thing I want to mention. It's a movie that deals with faith, but it doesn't cram it down your throat. Hey man, I'm a Catholic. But I don't ram it down like people's throats where, it's like,
it doesn't even say like,
you better believe in God, damn you.
Yeah, it never says like, you should believe in Christ or anything like that. It gives like, it's kind of just showing what they believe in.
Yeah.
And it makes sense with the story. It makes sense. It leads into their actions and what they do.
The last movie I thought that did that really well was Life of Pi. Very religious story. Didn't cram
completely
it down.
Different movie from this.
Well, I know, but it was a very religious story. It didn't cram it down.
They didn't even say you should be this religion. Yeah. It actually gave you the freedom of choice. But anyway, back to The Conjuring. Acting top notch. We got that out of here.
I even like the opening title has this like it's a crawl up the screen.
Oh, hold on, that's something I want to mention. This, if you're a fan of 70s horror, where it's all about atmosphere, and just tension. If you're a fan of this George C. Scott film, The Changeling, if you love movies like The Changeling and the original Amityville Horror, this is the movie for you.
Yeah,
this is the horror movie I've been waiting for. This is the horror movie I've been waiting for, and I think James Wan knows that. I think he's totally paying respect to when horror movies didn't need gore or like strong violence or jump scares. It was all set on tension and atmosphere, including the opening title, which is just so beautifully done and sent the chill down my spine. Like,
and the way it just
I'm in love with this movie.
Creepily rises up and it fills the entire big screen. And it's awesome and creepy. And
or even movies like I've been like trying to compare this to films, and I've like the one that's been coming to mind is The Exorcist and The Sentinel. Not because of what they deal with.
The Sentinel is the one with the model and the apartment? Yeah.
With Christopher Sarandon and stuff.
From Fright Night.
Mm-hmm. But not because of what they deal with, not because of the subject material. Just more like, as much as you're in this horror movie for the scares, it's all about the plot. It's all about the plot and the characters.
Yeah.
And they treat this movie not like a horror movie when it comes to the plot, but just like a really good film.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to make a really good story.
Yeah.
And we're going to ignore the fact that it's a horror movie. Let's just write a really captivating story.
You don't want anything bad to happen to these people.
No, you care about all of them.
And that's why you're so scared. Like, not only are you scared, like, oh, this is a tense scene, you're scared that wow, what the hell is going to happen to these people? What is this thing capable of?
Although, when it comes to the characters, I have one nitpick. And there are two characters that are kind of... They're there. I mean, they're main characters. The cop and...
Oh, yeah. I like those guys.
The H-kid. I like them, too. But they weren't really giving any kind of background. Like, I didn't even know their names.
Drew. Drew and Brad, I think.
I know they say them. But it's just something that, like, didn't
just
stick
to
with me.
No, I'm only kidding.
Or kind of everyone was kind of given a background. It's just like, oh, hey, here's this kid.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
That's, like, my only problem with it.
I just assume,
I could see them being made for the film.
Yeah, Drew and Brad.
Yeah. But, that's, like, my only nitpick.
I just assumed that they worked on cases before. I knew the one guy, Drew, probably did.
Yeah.
Brad, I just thought was just like, oh, he's a camera guy. Wait, he's a cop? Well, he's just helping out now.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but I like. In fact, the cop.
I still like them though.
Yeah, in fact, the cop Brad has like some
really funny moments.
He has like
that are deserved.
Yeah.
Okay. This film has comic relief, and it never feels like, oh, we need comic relief.
Yeah.
It's like a gasp of fresh air.
Yeah.
When you're drowning. Like, it's like, oh, thank God for, like, a moment that's not terrifying.
And maybe it's because it is like that, but I laughed out loud during some jokes here. Like, especially between the two characters we're talking about.
And I want to wrap this up because I want to talk a lot about this movie.
Yeah.
But
16 minutes in.
To finish this off, the ending to this, much like 70s horror films, the final climax packs a huge punch, and
oh my God, it's breathtaking.
That's another. Yeah, it sent shivers down my spine. It reminded me of something like The Sentinel or like The Exorcist, where it's like you did this perfectly.
Absolutely,
you set up everything perfectly, and you delivered, and because of that, I just completely fell in love with this movie. I know not a lot of people are gonna. I mean, people are gonna watch this and they're really gonna like it and they're gonna think it's a really good movie. And I know it's gonna be a few people who are gonna really love it. Mainly horror fans like myself. Like I pride myself in saying that horror is like my favorite movie genre.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean I've seen a lot of horror movies.
Hey man, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I mean
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean ever since I was a kid, horror movies all throughout my life. And this is the movie I've been waiting for. I absolutely love this film. A friend of ours, Jake, helped us create this new rating, and I'm going to use it. This gets 5 out of 4 eyes for me.
You know what? I'm going to go one down. This may surprise you. I'm going to give this 4 out of 4, because this really is just a fucking brilliant horror film.
I think my only complaint is that it's not going to come out in October, which I think would have been perfect. If this came out in October...
It was originally supposed to come out in January, but because of through the roof crowd responses, they moved it to July.
Oh, that's good. Yes, so you've listened to this, you've heard what we thought. Go see The Conjuring when it comes out.
Run to the theater.
And
run. We'll
tell
wait.
us what you think. Because you guys need to see this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to see him?
Yeah.
When the music stops, you see him in the mirror standing behind you.